Hi there, I'm Buddha and you're watching Dr. Guitar, a show for all you guitarists out there. Today, we're going to talk about silence. Silence and music. Silence and music. Silence is as musical as any note. It's the ultimate scale. It fits every tonality, every chord progression, every genre, every music. It's the thing that it's present in any song. Silence. If you are playing, making music, improvising, performing, you are communicating to someone, to an audience. You are even having a conversation with your fellow musicians, but mostly with your audience. In a conversation, silence is very important. It's the thing that accentuates the most the important things in your music, the key things in your music. When you make a pause, when you make silence, people notice more what you're saying. Every note that comes after a silence moment, it's more important. And if you accentuate it, if you make dynamics, if you use dynamics to your favor, the silence will be a great thing to use to accentuate some musical notes. In any genre, blues is a great genre, and B.B. King is one of the masters of silence. He knows really when not to play, and he really breathes. He lets music breathe. So, if you notice in the intro, I was playing even the rhythm part as silence, not only the solo. So I was playing. So I'm stopping the note, I'm breathing, and it's as important as playing is when your note ends. So if you're doing something like in this song, I got carried away. Sorry, I just love to play, so... but I was saying, when you stop the note, so if you play... It's very different than if you play. Right? Making it tighter if you stop it. So silence in music is really a great tool. Miles Davis is probably one of the best known guys for not playing. B.B. King is certainly one of. B.B. King doesn't even play rhythm guitar, so he's really into singing and playing melodies and solo and breathing a lot. And John Cage even has a song where he never plays. So if you think about it, silence is the first thing you get to make music. You can only make music in a silent environment. You start all your music with silence and then you fill it up. It's like silence. I look at silence like an empty canvas, an empty bucket where you start putting things on it, an empty box. So music starts with an empty box, nothing in it, and then you decide what to put in it, and you won't be putting this is not musical. You will be putting it you will be making stops, silence in between the notes. And that's where the beauty lies in. The silence is such a great tool, and it's so many times forgotten. I know so many musicians that don't know when to fucking shut up, right? So many. Silence makes you sound more musical, more profound, and makes you communicate better to your audience. And that's, at least to me, that's how I see music. I'm playing for someone. Of course, that someone is also me. I also play for me as a listener. So I have to please myself as a listener. My musician self has to please my listener self. But I'm always playing to someone. That's why we perform. That's why we need an audience to perform. And to best convey to other human beings, don't you ever forget we're playing for human beings. So we need to get the message through. And as in a speech, silence is really important. And in a lot of music genres, there's the call and response thing going on. So there's a lead melody, usually the singer, and a response melody, usually the soloist. But in blues, anyone can do the response. But for example, if I play a blues, I had a woman, but she left me. She brought me down to my knees. I had a woman, but she left me. She brought me down to my knees. And I stood there praying, wishing the Lord would bring him back home to me. I said, Lord, please have mercy. Have mercy on this poor man's son. Say, Lord, please have mercy. Mercy on this poor man's heart. I would gladly give you my soul. Please don't you tear us apart, y'all. If you get it, I'm answering the vocal melody with a guitar melody. And they are never playing on top of each other. They are calling and responding. So, if I take off the rhythm playing, it should be like, I had a woman, but she left me. She brought me down to my knees. I had a woman, but she left me. She brought me down to my knees. And I stood there praying, wishing the Lord would bring it back home to me. So I'm answering, but even the rhythm guitar is answering the melody. It's not playing on top of the melody, so on top of the vocal melody. I had a woman, but she left me. She brought me down to my knees. I had a woman, but she left me. She brought me down to my knees. And I stood there praying, wishing the Lord would bring it back home to me. So it's that call and response, that is creating space. It's not playing. This is the key to this episode. Not playing. Make silence. Okay? If you don't play, sometimes it means a lot more than if you play. And the silence accentuates the note you're playing next. Okay. And a funk groove. Notice how silence really makes the difference. Okay, so by a position, when I play really fast notes and I never shut up, it starts to be messy and not that musical. But it's great when you lift off and you play not stopping and then you stop and you grab the audience attention again. So take a notice. I will play forever and then make a stop and start playing groovier and with a lot more silence. And notice what happens. It makes you dance. At least it makes me dance, and I'm a crappy dancer. If you notice, I'm using again the call and response thing because the rhythm guitar is accentuating the one, is playing the one, hitting the one harder. So it's like a okay, and I'm leaving the one for the rhythm guitar. So I'm not playing on the one. I'm leaving the guitar to bang it, all right, and it's a very James Brownish thing, kicking the one and responding. So notice. Okay, so call and response, making silence, not playing, and of course play within the genre you're playing. There's every genre has its cliches, its own special things that makes that genre sound like that genre. But silence is in all of them, in heavy metal, in thrash, where the guys make the stops at You need to, you have a silence to breathe, even in the fastest music. So take silence, embrace silence, make silence be a part of your music. Silence is a very important thing in music. Make pauses. Breathe. Someone has told me that he started playing. I've read it somewhere, or I've watched it on YouTube. I can't remember who, but he started playing saxophone. So when and then got into guitar playing, and when he plays guitar, he breathes between the notes. He never plays notes with no end. He stops to breathe because he learned it on the saxophone. Because you cannot play, well, if you're Kenny G and you're doing circular breathing and shit like that. But usually, as in singing, you cannot play forever. You cannot sing forever. You need some time. You will need to stop to breathe, and do it with the guitar. Stop to breathe. Play some notes and stop and lay back. And I'm using reverb today. Reverb is very helpful because it lets the note continue in a different way. It lengthens your notes, but you can stop playing sooner, and it glues things together sometimes. Another very important thing about silence in music is that 99% of the time you are playing with other musicians. So making silence, stopping your notes, leaves a lot of space for the other musicians that are playing with you to play in. Great musicians know how to play how to play on top of the other musician's silence. So a great band is never on top of each other. Everyone knows his place, and everyone is playing in between the silence of the other musicians. And that's a really, really misexplored aspect. I play with a lot of musicians and I jam with a lot of musicians, and not many have that perspective of leaving space for the other musicians that are playing, especially when you jam, when you improvise, because you have not created an arrangement, so you are playing from the moment, from the that feel, that so you are excited to play and you are trying to play at your best. But when we are jamming and improvising, we are writing and composing in real time. You should never think about jam as putting notes away, as plain notes. You just don't have a second chance. When you are writing a song, you can try something, play a riff or play some notes, and oh no, I don't like this. Let me change it. When you are jamming, it's the real thing. You're playing, and that's it. You have no second chance. So that's a real moment where you should really think about silence. Make some pauses. Relax. Stop. Think about the notes you're playing next, and leave space for other musicians. And even if there ain't nobody playing with you, leave space. Space is a really great tool, right? Silence is music. Playing with other musicians is like having a conversation with them. And if you are playing all the time, you are not listening. It's impossible to listen to what others have to say if you are playing all the time. And probably, if you are playing all the time, they won't say anything too. So you're obstructing their way. You're not creating it. You're not giving yourself a chance to be inspired by their playing. So silence is also a great tool, a great maturity tool, a great musical tool. Listen to what they are playing and influence your playing on their playing too. React to their playing, but you have to give them a chance by being quiet, by playing with silence. Not play is as useful as play. A note is just an absence of silence. Silence is an absence of note, but it's a choice. You've chosen not to play. That's as valid choice as play. Well, that's it. I hope this has been useful to you. It's been a huge pleasure making this journey. It's an honor reading all your great comments and reaching. I'm seeing that we're reaching more and more people every day. So please help us building this community. Share it with the world. Subscribe the YouTube channel. Leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts. and share it with your friends. Spread the word. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next week.